Hello and welcome to Geoscope on Politics Social. I'm Graham Hughes and I'm joined tonight by Mike Dix of Trumpton fame. Oh, yeah, Bowler Hat Man, all the way from Yorkshire. Yeah. Do your Yorkshire accent for us, Mike.
Aye, all right.
Cheers.
That's it.
So Ollie can't be with us tonight because he is helping out a friend. Because I don't know if you know this, but it hasn't stopped raining for 40 days and 40 nights. It's like we've all been very naughty and God's trying to wipe us all out.
There are some serious flood stories going on.
Did you remember to build an ark? Did you?
I live by the sea. I'll get drowned pretty quickly when the sea level rises. So
that's all right. Can't you just go to the top of that big tower thing that they built? Isn't that what it's for? It's all the rich can go to the top like an episode of Black Mirror and watch everyone else drown.
That's entirely why we did it. Capacity is about 48 people. So I don't... Be a bloodbath.
Yeah. But Ollie has, let's say R.I.P. Ollie, for God's sake. He's gone round to his mate's house because his mate's house is flooded in the floods in Yorkshire, and he's gone to help move everything upstairs. It's looking really grim. And apparently we're going to get one rain-free day on Saturday, and then it's just going to start raining again. So if you are living somewhere that is prone to flooding, please make sure that you invest in some sandbags or something. Sophia Line says, Ollie has friends. Yes, he has lots of friends. That's why Ollie's very rarely on the Friday Night Social. He's literally got better things to do. We don't, do we, Mike?
Much better things to do. I have nothing to do. This is, you are my entire life, Graham.
and you mine. Tonight we're going to be talking about Epstein. Obviously, a big thanks to Mike for stepping in at the last minute here. Really appreciate that. We're going to be talking about Epstein. We're not going to be talking about the Mandelson stuff because that's been done to death. We're not talking about the Trump stuff and the Steve Bannon and everything. More, we're going to be talking about the effects of this file release in countries around the world where they seem to be taking it a lot more seriously than the Americans, who were just like, well, we've released the files, nothing to see here, we're all done. I'm like, it says in the files all this really bad, fucked up shit went down.
Yeah, but Trump's not in them. It's time to move on.
He's only in it 30,000 times.
There's a bridge to Canada that he's got a problem with today. So, that's important. Got to deal with those things. Fact that I was just watching the Massey and I can't remember the name of the other senator that are digging into this on behalf of the victims.
Yeah.
But they've just stood up in the House and announced the names of the 6 co-conspirators that the FBI had redacted.
Yeah.
And they happen to. There is there's a sheikh in there and some very Eastern European sounding names. I'm not sure where they're from. I haven't had a chance to look them up yet, basically.
It's mad. But it's the QAnoners were right. But before we go on, I just want a big shout out to everyone in the chat. We've got Diz in there. Thank you very much for coming along, Diz.
Hey, Diz.
We've got Chris. We've got One Angry Pagan. I've got Pete's Music. You know, I met Diz and Yuri Infectinov last week.
Did you?
Yeah, in real life. We were at the fake Oasis, the fake Nirvana gig.
I'd always assumed Diz didn't actually exist.
No, Diz does exist, and she's lovely.
I thought she was just an AI bot.
I got to
demanded confetti whenever. Did you have to actually throw confetti?
I did have to do that. Yeah, it was necessary. That has reminded me though to set a target, so we should definitely do this. We are going to have a hard stop at 8:30, Mike, because that's when I shunt everyone over to go and watch Maximilian's channel, and because he does his live thing at half 8 on Tuesday night, or 9:30 for him because he's in Italy, isn't he? Lucky bastard.
Yeah.
He keeps posting pictures of like beautiful sunsets, and I'm like, what's that? What's that big yellow thing in the sky? What is that, Max?
How does that work?
How does that work? I can't. It's been so long. It's been so long since we saw it. If you do want to join the chat, all you need to do in a moment, until I get this set up, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button and wait for approximately a minute, and you can join in the conversation. And we like to do this as a bit of as round table as we can. So if you get your comments in, that'll be cool. I was thinking as well, if you press Graham : it comes up.
Do you have to bring?
Yeah, sorry.
Do you have to bring colons?
That's what it's called, isn't it? 2 dots on top of each other. Two vertical dots.
Rub it in.
Hit the 2 vertical dots, and then Graham, and then 2 vertical dots, and it makes a little picture of me. And so if you want me to actually read your comments, and you don't want to give a super chat, whatever, if you do that, I'm more likely to look at it. Or if you put @Graham Politics, that's another way of catching my attention. Because what happens, Mike, is that I end up reading the comments and it's someone else having a conversation with somebody else. And I like jump in the middle like an idiot and go, what? Who missed the bus?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
You're late for the dentist appointment. What? But yes. And Russ says, Diz exists, met her recently, and she's really nice. She is. Okay. David says, my problem with Maximilian is he gets all his views from the news, prefer British opinions of people actually living in the UK. But I like it because it's not in the UK. It is from outside. It is an outsider's view on what's going on here. And there's enough of us making content, isn't there? You're not short of political content, are you, on the internet? Made by people. Where's the hat? Says Sphere Lance. Well, Mike's got such amazing hair. He doesn't need a hat.
I can't. I do actually have a bowler hat. If you give me 4 more minutes notice of this, I could have got a bowler hat.
Have you got like a Wookiee outfit that disappears into the background as you talk?
Yeah, that's what I need. Definitely. Yeah.
People won't know the difference. Oh god, my coffee's too hot. Anyway, so yeah, what we're going to talk about a little bit is what's happened in other countries around the world. So we've got, in the UK, obviously, we've got the Mandelson crisis, and I don't think we need to go over that again. It's, Mandelson was fired as ambassador last year. Now the police are reviewing possible misconduct in public office, which carries an unlimited sentence, I think. It's pretty bad. Starmer's made a public apology to the victims of Epstein. Do you know who hasn't made an apology so far?
Is it Charles Mountbatten Windsor?
No. No.
He's not apologised.
No,
he's definitely not apologised.
But he's not in there, is he? I know his brother is.
No, but his stinking brother is.
I know, but he said he will cooperate with the police.
Charles Mountbatten Windsor has known about this for at least 15 years. And Charles Mountbatten Windsor must have sat there with Mummy when she wrote a cheque for $12 million to pay off Andrew Mountbatten.
This is very true.
It's in America.
This is very true. But no, I was thinking
he certainly
more...
should be apologising to Virginia's family at the very least.
Yeah. But I was thinking more of Mandelson. Mandelson's not said anything. I've not heard any comment.
Well, it's not, because he's going to have a new ministerial job next week, isn't he? That's the way it works with Mandelson.
The goldfish memories down there.
I shouldn't laugh, but it is. He will be working on a campaign to get himself back into office. That's the way it works. Apparently,
the little trick to make a little me in the chat only works if you remember. Oh, I'm sorry. So if you want to make a little me in the chat, if that's important to you, join the channel.
I'm gonna have to join the channel now.
To join the channel so you can put a little me in there. I should make more. There's also the roses, isn't there? The different coloured roses that you can make. Okay, so Mandelson's. I mean, there is a chance that eventually this could bring down the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, who's not even in the. But anyway, let's go over
near the Epstein files.
Let's go over to Norway, where Mona Jewel, who's an ambassador for Jordan and Iraq, and I'm going to try and pronounce this, Terje Rud Larsen, senior diplomat, Oslo Accords figure, Crown Princess Mette Marit, who had personal association with Epstein, and also Thorbjorn Jagland, who's a former prime minister in Norway.
We're gonna struggle with some of the names, I think.
Yeah.
In these files.
So visits to Epstein properties, warm correspondence, financial links, will arrangements, like mentioned in the wills and stuff. I think some of and anyway, so Jules resigned, so he's the ambassador to Mona, that's a woman's name in it, so I guess that's a woman. Jewel resigned as ambassador to Jordan and Iraq. The national corruption investigators are involved. There's been apologies from the royal family, and there's been huge public shock over there because they see themselves as very much, on the straight and narrow because they're Norwegian. But here's the thing, Mike. The Norwegians go on and on about how great they are because they've all got electric cars now.
Mm-hmm.
They've caused more climate change than most other countries put together.
Because
they sell all the North Sea oil around the world.
Yeah.
They got that nice little sovereign fund.
There's a lot of Norwegians in the files. There's a lot. Thorbjorn, the ex-prime minister of Norway, Thorbjorn Jagland.
Yeah, yeah.
Half the royal family, diplomats. Somebody resigned yesterday from as a ambassador or something in Norway.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Norwegian. I mean, there's a lot of oil connections. I think that's one of the things.
Yeah. Someone's asked about the election in Japan, which took place a couple of days ago. Was it yesterday? Was it yesterday? The results
Yeah.
And it was a snap election because the current prime minister Takashi wanted to get more seats, and now she has a supermajority. And what she wants to do is limit migration. She's famous for her staunch immigration stance, and that's not great for the economy. This is the problem in Japan. Its economy stalled for 30 years now.
Yeah, that worked out well for them in the past, didn't it?
Not letting people come in.
Not letting anyone in, basically.
Not letting anyone in.
And then deciding inbreeding was a problem, so they needed to invade China.
Yeah.
I think that's a loose description of what happened. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, another thing in America is last year, the lack of immigration meant that effectively it affects the fertility rate, which is kind of a weird way of looking at it, but it's like the people replacement rate that you need to maintain a healthy economy, because you can't have too many
pyramid.
people. Yeah, the pyramid. Essentially, like because of Trump, just no one wants to move to America, so the immigration numbers just went off a cliff, which isn't going to be good for their economy down the line.
Definitely not. It's I mean, it's always the problem with sticking up walls, isn't it? Basically, but yeah, that's essentially where they're heading. But back to, I mean, these names, I'm just going through a list right now. Did you know the Dalai Lama is in the Epstein files?
Whoa. I knew Stephen Hawkins was in there.
Hawkins is in there. There's a whole bunch of scientists. There was a paleontology conference, the World Institute of Paleontology or something. I've definitely got that wrong. Have decided that none of the people on the Epstein list will ever be invited to another dinosaur conference, which is a big blow. I mean, that's almost as bad as moving to Norfolk, I guess. But he did have this fascination with scientists, didn't he? There's a balance. If you look at the list, it's a bunch of shitty-looking investment people and tech bros, a bunch of politicians, and then a bunch of scientists and artists that he got involved in his world, basically. Yeah. It's a childish collection, his network, really.
The guy was called Jack Horner, was the name of the chap who
Jack Horner, the guy that was going to reverse engineer chickens and turn them into dinosaurs, and was the inspiration for the main character in Jurassic Park. Yeah. There's a bunch of scientists on the list that I am, some of the physicists, etc. I used to quite rate.
Oh, you've upset one angry pagan with your dissing of Norfolk. What the fuck is wrong with Norfolk? Actually, that should be on the poster, shouldn't it? To visit Norfolk. What the fuck is wrong with Norfolk? And then
the new Duke of Norfolk, effectively, is not a particularly nice man. Have you heard none of the servants in the palace want to work for him? That he's really struggling to get servants.
Are we talking about Andrew here? The nonce formerly known as Prince?
The nonce formerly known as Prince can't get any servants, so he's probably going to have to make his own jam sandwiches.
I mean, he did that to move from that big mansion to a slightly smaller mansion. I mean, hasn't he suffered enough?
It's terrible, isn't it? And also he's had to live with Fergie for most of his life. So,
Fergie, who apparently slept with Epstein and told him
wanted to marry him.
After he said that she loved him, and took her 2 young daughters over to stay with him.
I know we need to be looking at a lot of the foreign people involved in this, but Fergie is a foreigner, isn't she, from that point of view? But some of the women on these lists, some of the things that the women were engaged in, like none of it, we have to put the disclaimer up that just being on the list doesn't mean that you were shagging children. But he had a team around him of women.
Yeah.
A woman called Linda Groff and a collection of people that I keep doing little dives into the DOJ database, and then I wish I hadn't. You find a network of women communicating about transferring women from Moscow to the island, to Saudi Arabia, to Dubai, to Paris, to New York. He had a pilot, a Russian pilot, who he paid for her to become a pilot, but he trafficked her in the first place as one of his girls, and then she became a pimp, flying around the world, picking up girls from Moscow and bringing them back.
So I just burst out laughing then, and it wasn't to what you were saying. It's just because I read Sop Coppen's comment. Nonce in a lifetime, sweat not flowing from my glands.
We could be so careful with humour, haven't we? It's like, what do you do?
I wish I could sing. There's so many songs I'd just like to do a cover version of. Just change that. Weird Al Yankovic. I want his job.
Yeah.
I want his job because every time I hear a song, I think, if I just change the lyrics a little bit, this could be fucking hilarious.
It always amazes me that he's still alive.
Well, no one's killed him yet.
I seem to have some sort of recollection that he was quite big at doing satirical songs way back in the 80s.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And yet he still appeared.
Have you seen the biopic about him with Harry Potter?
Yes,
and
yeah,
David Radcliffe?
it's
God,
awesome.
It's funny. It is honestly.
It's
I really
awesome.
recommend just a funny, daft, silly, awesome film that just kind of it absolutely takes the piss out of so many of those Hollywood biopic tropes of he has to come out to his parents because he likes to play the accordion.
Just very
plays
clever. All of the games.
But back onto the sort of serious business of this, the Epstein stuff. In Sweden, Joanna Rubinstein, a senior UN official, went to visit on his island. She's had to resign. In Slovakia, Miroslav Lajcek, who's a national security advisor, appeared in messages that have appeared that are inappropriate, that were exchanged between him and Epstein. He's quit his job. Then we've got Jack Lang, former culture minister in France, who Epstein links to amid other legal scrutiny that he's facing at the moment. He's offered his resignation. I don't think he's actually resigned yet. As far as I'm aware, he might have done today. And meanwhile, in America, just nothing's happening. They had an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell this week, and she just pled the fifth and made it very clear that if she was to get clemency, then she will keep her gob shut. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Her lawyers clearly said in her introduction that only Ghislaine can tell the truth about what happened, including, for example, the fact that President Clinton and President Trump never did anything wrong. Yeah. But I'll need a pardon, and in order to be able to say that,
it's not a pardon. The logic of it, pardon, because then she can still be compelled. It's got to be clemency. I think this is a technical difference in the American system. But what a mad system. The Home Office in the UK can repeal someone's prison sentence if there's enough evidence to prove it. The King can't. The King can't decide each year, when they do the New Year's list, just a list of criminals that they just want to absolve from the crimes that they literally committed and pled guilty to. What a mad system they have in America.
It is crazy.
They elect a king plus, like an S-tier king, like an absolute monarch from the... divine right, absolute monarch from the medieval
It's quite
days.
funny. I did a post on Blue Sky about that and just said, look, it's a shit show over here with the Mandelson affair, but at least our democracy and our legal system has the ability to eventually start tracking down these people and removing them from office and investigating them. And all the Brits agreed completely. A bunch of Americans piled on me saying, well, you got a monarchy that's run you forever and tells you what to do. And you go, no, we don't. No, and also we chop their fucking heads off if we don't like them.
We've only done that once, to be fair, but
maybe it's about time we started that again. Basically.
And also Sphereland says, don't forget the president also pardons a turkey.
Mm.
I mean, it's not a serious country, is it?
It makes you wonder what he did with the turkey, him and Epstein, in order to give it a pardon.
Americans
when you go through the DOJ files,
Canadians can hold the knife and fork properly. Americans can't.
There's a lot of files in there, a lot of email conversations between these powerful men, between Epstein and whoever. talking about payoffs for girls, talking about paying for college educations, speculating on how much it would cost to keep them quiet. And some of them would run into the millions.
Yeah.
And you just ask yourself, what is wrong with it? You know, I don't want to sound like Elon Musk, but do they not know how to pay for a prostitute? Because if you end up paying millions of pounds to cover up your supposed crimes on the island, either the crimes on the island are much bigger than just sexual massages. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've been going down some rabbit holes recently.
Why would you?
There is some channels on YouTube that would have you believe that Eyes Wide Shut was Stanley Kubrick's shout out to reveal the truth of Epstein.
Was going on.
And then he died 6 days after he put the final edit together, basically. So, you know, this is where I'm starting to go all tin hat. You're going to have to stop me. I'm going QAnon.
No, you are QAnon. We're right. There was an elite group of paedophiles running the world. It's just they happen to be all fucking Republicans.
Well, they're not, though, are they? I mean, it's Clinton and Bill Gates and Stephen Hawking. You know, there is a bunch of sicko pedos.
I don't think Stephen Hawking was up to much. By the way, it's Hawking singular. You keep getting mixed up with Richard Dawkins, which is plural because there's two of them.
Oh God, I'm surprised he's not on the list. Former Prime Minister of Spain, Aznar, he's on there.
Yeah. Lots of people on there. H2SO4. Dr. Crippen knew what you could use H2SO4 for. Sulfuric acid.
There were thousands of liters of sulfuric acid sent to the island.
Really?
There is a whole weird set of invoices for sulfuric acid which came in after the charges were placed in Florida.
Oh my God!
Right, and listen, this is, please stop me from.
No, I'm not. I'm finding this out because people are talking about sulfuric acid in the chat.
If I log into this chat next week, basically, and there's a pinboard on the back here with a load of red strings and ribbons, intervene.
No, that's fine.
But if you go onto the DOJ site and search for the word jerky in the Epstein files, right, as in beef jerky, there is an inordinate amount of email conversations between him and everybody else in the system about jerky. You must bring some jerky to the island. There must be jerky. We need to get 5 pounds of jerky a day. Right now, there's speculation online, which I don't believe for 1 minute, because when you go and read some of these things, you go, well, it's not saying that. It could easily be like Pizzagate. You know, it could just be pizza. Basically, it could just be beef jerky. But it's talking about a need for large amounts of it, dry ice to store it, frozen quantities of it in all the locations that he's got. So I don't know what it is. Is it a code word for something, basically? Probably, but the sulfuric acid comes into that conversation as part of a recipe. So then you go, wait, how many disappearances are we talking about here?
Ernie Byrne says, I now realise QAnon was basically Epstein. It explains a lot because it always surprised me that the right had that much imagination. It wasn't a pizza restaurant basement in Washington, D.C. It was, in fact, Little Thomas Island or whatever.
Beef jerky basement in St. James. Yeah.
Little St. James. SG, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. There is a ranch in New Mexico called the Zorro Ranch, which is where the worst atrocities took place. See a Midas video about it, or don't, as it's too horrific.
It is too horrific. And again, if you put the keyword boys into the database as well, and you find that the ranch, there's a number of witness statements from young boys as well, basically, from there. Which always, that belies the thing, and I keep getting in trouble for saying it, that nobody ever suspects. And again, I'm not saying anything because, lots of people girding their lawyers' loins at the moment in various ways on this one, and there isn't huge amounts of evidence for it. But the idea that you get a free pass from the sexual misconduct because you're gay, I don't buy that. I just don't buy it.
And I didn't see any of that because I'm gay.
Yeah. And also people saying, well, he couldn't have been involved in the sex trafficking because he's gay. And you go, what is it about? What do you think gay people do? Yeah. Basically, it's no different. If they're corruptible in one way or the other, he was corrupting them.
Yeah. So Jamie Raskin today, just an hour or so ago, went on the record to say that Trump in the unredacted files appears more than 1 million times.
Yeah.
1 million times.
There are so many times. I think one of the QAnon type. I mean, I kind of believe these websites. They seem reasonable. YouTube channels, but there's a graphic designer in New York who's been analyzing the redactions.
Yeah.
And she's font matching the emails so that she types out the email and then overlays it over the email. And then she can calculate what words might be under there, what names that we know might be under the redactions. And she's looking for the jaggies and artifacts from the redaction squares.
Yeah.
To see if they match up with
very well.
with the fonts. Yeah. And it's interesting. Again, she came up with 3 of the names that they found unredacted today. And she came up with those last week.
Wow.
It's quite amazing to watch people piling through these things, basically, and making the reports. But again, you think this is what was happening to QAnon. And Epstein had an involvement in 4chan, didn't he, or whatever at the beginning of all of that process. It would make sense to project this story out to deflect it from you, to make it all about the others. It seemed to have a falling out with Clinton in something like 2012, something like that. Basically, I'm not sure of the exact date. And then suddenly that story appears about the Clintons as part of QAnon.
Yeah. I think we know that Bannon was involved in QAnon from the get-go.
And how many pictures of Bannon sitting there across the desk from Epstein?
Yeah. Bannon, who is looking to get the DOJ, the Department of Justice in America. There's no crimes going on, Mike. There's no crimes happening anywhere in America, so they've got the time to look into the fact that he shouldn't have gone to jail a few years ago for contempt of Parliament or contempt of Congress.
Grand jury indicted him. Grand jury indicted him. All the evidence pointed to it. Jury convicted him.
Yeah. Chrissy says, QAnon has gone very quiet since the files have become public. A bit too quiet, if you ask me.
Well, and Steve Bannon's friend Nigel seems to have gone very quiet.
Oh, he's gone very quiet, yeah, on this subject. But he's been speaking, hasn't he, about people not working from home anymore. He's going to get them back to work, and he's going to and the fucking mad bastard who's running in Manchester in Denton and Gorton for the Refuck Party, Matt Goodwin. He wants to fine people for not having children.
For not having children.
For not having children. He wants to make them pay more tax for not having children, the bastards. So, you go to the doctors and you get the worst news imaginable, where you really want to have kids and you can't have kids because of something wrong with your uterus or your sperm count or whatever. And then you get a letter from the HMRC saying, I hear you can't have kids, so you're going to have to pay more now, you fucker.
Or you decide that a world in which you have a Reform MP in Parliament and a potential Reform government is not a world to bring children into, basically.
Or a world where the global fucking food supply looks like it's set to collapse in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I was reading today that a third of arable land and pasture land could vanish due to climate change.
Yeah.
That's I know you and me tend to go off on tangents, and we should be talking about
tangents. ADHD.
We should be talking about
what are you talking about,
Sergei Lavrov being in the Epstein files. Obviously, that makes perfect sense. Sometimes you only have to look at a picture of the bloke that they're talking about and go, "Yep, definitely
he's in there." So we're saying E-list, instead of Z-list or Z-list, it's an E-list. So anyone who's an E-list celebrity. That was suggested by someone in the chat, whose name shall remain quite quiet for the moment. This news story that's come out about Jamie Raskin, who's part of the House Judiciary Committee. He's a ranking member. And so he's seen a lot of the documents that we're not allowed to see. And apparently there is a document, which is a 2009 email exchange between Epstein and his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, in which Epstein recounted his lawyer's account of a phone call with Trump, as Raskin has previously told supporters. And Trump has paraphrased and quoted saying, no, Jeffrey Epstein was not a member of Mar-a-Lago, but he was a guest at Mar-a-Lago. And no, we never asked him to leave. So he's basically lying, which is a surprise because he doesn't expect Trump to lie, do you?
No. Have you seen they found I don't think it was the Democrats found this, it's somebody's found in the files a police record from Florida in 2006, which is 2 years before Epstein was arrested the first time. I think that's the timeline. I kind of keep my head on the timeline. But once he was being investigated, Trump put a call into the Florida police. And in that conversation, he said, well, we all knew what Jeffrey was up to with teenage girls. And the MAGA crowd have gone out on Twitter and the rest of the world now saying, see, we told you. Trump was the one that was informing the FBI that this was all going on. And you go, and remained friends with him for another 10 years after that. You know, and even then, whichever way you look at this, if he did know, if everybody did know in Florida, then why wasn't Trump actually reporting this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 1990s when it was all happening, according to Trump? But that's what they're going to use. They're going to find those little things. And the problem, I think, with a lot of it is there is just so many. I put something in the chat today that you dig in, you start looking at a story, it opens up so many rabbit holes.
Yeah.
You know, you find a tech billionaire in Dubai that's been flying backwards and forwards, and then some Sultan Wahib or somebody who's constantly communicating with everybody and introducing people. And it just, everything connects up. You can find the flight logs of the girls. But the problem is, each of those stories, there must be millions, tens of thousands of stories in there to follow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it seems like, as you say, every country in the world seems to be being affected by it. Ex-presidents of, the president of, I don't want to name countries and get them wrong, to be honest with you, but 2 or 3 ex-presidents on there. I get a feeling, for obvious reasons, I guess, basically, that it is all quite 90s, early 2000s, most of this activity.
Yeah.
And I asked the question the other day, well, all these people with that predisposition, where are they going now for this? Who's organising this for them now that there isn't a Ghislaine doing it for them?
Noel Clarke has been arrested.
Yeah.
Doctor, over allegations of attempted rape in 2007. After he tried to sue The Guardian for all these women who came forward. And
Yeah.
And he lost. He lost the case. The Guardian didn't back down. It said, no, we'll see you in court then. And he lost.
Good for them.
What else was getting mentioned there?
But did you see today, though, just connected to this, is that if you want to know the reasons why some of these people don't face investigation and trials for this, that another copper, ex-Metropolitan Police inspector, and they call him an ex-inspector purely because he was removed from his job when these allegations came out 2 years ago, 22 counts of rape, a Met inspector and firearms officer.
Fucking hell.
Right, so, you know, if you're a victim of Prince Andrew and you go knock on the door of the Met and an inspector walks into the room, there is a serious chance that you're going to end up being molested again, basically, at that point. Yeah, and I know I shouldn't generalise. It's not all coppers.
I know, but it's enough.
You know,
it's enough.
It's enough, and in senior roles, to be part of the same elite organisations.
There was a period a couple of years ago where you couldn't go a week without a new scandal about a Metropolitan Police officer would come out. And Pete's Music says, I hate having to pay for kids when I have no interest in having one. At 64, hopefully I don't ever. I had a friend who hated having to pay for other people's kids until she got pregnant. And then she stopped complaining about having to pay for other people's kids. Funny that, isn't it,
Really?
Mike? Yeah.
That's strange.
I have no problem with paying for other people's kids to be educated, because then there's more chance they'll buy my book or watch me on here because they'll be educated. They won't be a dickhead. I have no problem paying for old people to get medical care. The only thing I object to...
thanks, man.
Is
thanks, mate. That's nice.
The only thing I object to, and I seriously object to this, is the fact that there are these multi-millionaires out there who spend all their life on a cruise ship going around the world, and they get a state pension, because everyone gets a state pension in this country, even if you don't need it and you don't even notice it. And you can just spend it all on crack or whatever.
The pension is the other reason that we should be paying for kids. Because if we don't have enough young people in the country, we can't afford to pay for the health service and the pensions, basically. So if you're heading towards 64, you definitely need some young people in the world, basically earning money.
It's also making a positive case for not just having children, but also for immigration, for people coming from other countries to come here.
Absolutely.
You know,
that's the reason this country's economy has been based on immigration, even under the Tories.
Yeah.
Despite everything they said in the last 10 years, they were a pro-immigration party.
Yeah, yeah. Did you hear the funny story? I can't believe this came out 3 weeks ago. I heard about it now. You know, over the summer, the fucking flag shaggers put up a load of flags around mine.
Yeah.
Bringing down everyone's fucking house price.
Raise the flag.
The two knobheads who put that together, they raised £250,000 on their fucking crowdfunder, right?
Yeah.
And now they're accusing each other of robbing the money and doing a Lego.
Because they did. Basically, they definitely robbed
Danny
each other.
Tammo and Ryan. So basically, Danny Tammo is calling Ryan from Raise the Colours a scammer.
And one of them is wanted in Spain for a holiday healthcare scam.
Yes.
And the other one has served time.
A £40 million holiday sickness scam.
Yeah. And then the other one has served time for kidnapping.
Pete says, never wanted kids. That's why I'm selling mine. I'll also consider a trade for size 10.5 roller boots. I was talking to Aid this evening. He said, his kids are being a pain in the arse. And I said, have you ever thought about selling them? And he was like, what are you talking about? I said, I know this guy in northwest China. He's a surgeon there, nice hands. And he's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, not for organ donation or anything, like live auction transplant. No, like that. Just experimentation,
Yeah.
Give him pigtails. And I don't mean
test out the old.
Give him an extra leg, extra arm, see what happens.
You got to test the vaccines on somebody.
Got to test the vaccine.
That's the thing.
Got to test the vaccine. So your kids are annoying.
I think it's quite wrong of Aid not to offer at least one of them up. He's got spares.
I know, exactly. Some people like.
Did you see the front cover of Private Eye this week with Fergie, Andrew, and his daughters on the front? Is it this week or was it last week?
No. I don't think. I think it's a picture in the Private Eye, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh no! That was an old Private Eye from 2011.
Oh right,
that
okay.
was from 2011. But it was.
I saw it on the Private Eye podcast today.
Yeah,
it was something.
Yeah. This is this week's, but the Private Eye thing got ripped because it was the glue when it was in the envelope. The glue was all across there, so it got ripped off. It also got Mandy in his underpants, which you don't need to see.
Yeah, Ian, I was watching the Private Eye podcast today. They were talking about it.
Everything's falling down. Oh.
Ian Hislop was saying that he's had more complaints about people having to look at that picture over breakfast than any other picture they've put on the front.
Look at this. This is I've got to send these off to Sarah. Sarah watching. That's Franny's signature there. Franny's. She's already got yours. That's Scott's there. Scott's signature. Got Rachel's there as well. And we've got Hannah's little Hannah. Oh God.
They will
lighting. Hannah's signature. And this is off Aid. I don't know if you can see that. It says to Sarah, Graham is a cunt. You never guess who that's off. It's off Aid Thompson. Oh, good mate.
They'll be worth a fortune, Sarah, in the near future.
When we all
Once
go
Partick
down
Social
terrible crimes
have replaced the royal family, basically.
Anyway, so I'll get them off to Sarah at some point this week, I'm sure. But yeah, they're sitting. I still haven't sorted out the prizes for the New Year quiz.
Have you not?
At some point I will. At some point. Anyway, so yeah, back to the I don't really want to go back to the Epstein stuff, but in America, the sort of attitude is like, oh, it's all over now, it's all done, we've released it all, we're not releasing any more, and then they walk away from the podium. But I think this is going to run and run because people are going to keep finding stuff out, aren't they?
Did you see the victims group did a press conference today with Chuck Schumer, and they're calling for a Virginia law in honor of Virginia Giuffre, which is to extend the, in fact, to make almost an unlimited period under which you can bring I can't remember the legal name.
Statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations.
Because that's
and
only for...
And it was a very, very powerful presentation by some victims and the brother of Virginia, which was essentially saying, look, statistically speaking, the majority of people who are abused as children don't actually go public with that information even to their partners or family until they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
and the statute of limitation has expired by that time.
So in the UK there is no statute of limitation on rape or serious sexual assault. In the US, I think it varies by state, but in some cases it's only 3 years, even in cases involving children.
It's unbelievable. Well, yeah, I mean, in the States, if that child gets pregnant, they're not even allowed to have an abortion, are they, in some states? So
But many jurisdictions no longer have any statute of limitations for child sexual abuse. But still...
In the States?
Yeah, in the States. But some states still do. Don't forget, in some states, there is still no lower bar to the age of which a child can marry a man, as long as the parents say, yeah, it's okay.
Which I'm sure some do. I think one of the other issues is that the British Virgin Islands, which Little St James was part of, that's a separate jurisdiction, isn't it? So I don't know what their laws are, and I wonder whether he purposely had that island in order to get around some of their laws. I did find a paper today where the government via the local jurisdiction basically was suing the Epstein estate. They managed to get $105 million out of the Epstein estate in the end. And again, there's some names on there: the lawyer's name, the accountant's name, the airline pilot's name. There is a organized business of sex trafficking. That all inherited the estate. Most of them $50 or $60 million each, basically, and they had to pay $105 million to the US state. So they still came away multimillionaires from this.
Yeah.
And they're still free. They're not in prison.
Yeah. So
because he did that sweetheart deal that got all the co-conspirators off the hook in the Florida case.
Yeah. He went to jail for a week, wasn't it?
Yeah. US Virgin Islands. Thank you, Diz.
He went to tennis camp.
And also, have you seen Branson in the photos and the emails? I mean, does it surprise you? Not really. Have you ever seen the interview he did with Conan O'Doyle and Salma Hayek?
Salma Hayek, where he can't take his hands off Salma Hayek, and he keeps trying to get her to sit on his knee. Do you know what? It's like fucking Pepe Le Pew. It's horrible to watch. So many things happened in the 90s where men were really inappropriate to women at like the
But
MTV
in the end,
Awards
Conan says, if you touch, he's on his TV show, right? And he says, if you touch her again, I will pull your fucking head off, he says to Richard Branson. You have to admire Conan, right?
Did he say that? Did he actually drop the F-bomb on American TV?
He said, I will pull your fucking head off, basically, if you touch her again. And Branson just smiles and went, well, you're not going to do that.
Wow. Bolskoff is asking if I saw the Super Bowl advert with the victims, the Epstein victims. They were holding pictures of themselves when they were younger, saying, this girl deserves justice. Russ wants to know if Branson's in a pickle now. For fuck's sake. Can we try and keep it serious?
Russ,
for 5 seconds.
How, on this subject matter, how can you do that?
One Angry Pagan saying Mikey and Tim are getting trolls galore over on the Bin podcast. Are they out now? Are they broadcasting now? Damn, I need to broadcast at the same time as Mikey. They're getting lots of trolls, which we're lucky so far on this channel. We do not get many trolls, but once you start getting them, you can't get rid of them. But one thing that I'll do like about YouTube is you get rid of someone and they then have to make a new account. Well, no, they have to make a new account, but that takes them a while. And you've got to have like a Gmail linked account and stuff, don't you?
That is the remarkable thing, though. There are still defenders out there.
Yeah.
Did you see Lutnick today in front of the Senate? Steve Lutnick, the trade emissary or whatever he is, basically the trade minister, secretary, who did a podcast interview some time ago where he was asked about his relationship with Epstein. And he sat there smug as anything, and he said no. So he moved into a house in New York next door to Jeffrey Epstein, and Epstein's assistant came around and invited him and his wife round for coffee, and they go round, and there's massage tables in every room. And Lutnick says, I looked at my wife, and we both said, this man's disgusting. We want nothing to do with him. And we left.
Yeah.
And I've never had any contact with him since. And he says, and that was in 2006.
Yeah.
And then
now
he's all the way through them. He's a business partner.
Commerce secretary, isn't he, of the Trump administration?
And he did deals with him. They were partners in a company. Yeah. His boat, he took his boat to the island. There's emails saying, where does my captain dock his boat on your island?
He fucking lied. He lied. He should at least go down for perjury.
I've got my wife and my kids with me, and then he puts the ages of all his kids. What's that all about?
Fuck, that is so.
Why do you do that?
Off.
And then in the Senate, he was asked about it today, and he said, "Well, you're not suggesting for 1 minute that I was doing anything wrong on the island. My kids weren't involved in any of that." And you go, "No, he didn't say that. Why did you bring that up?" Basically, why? I think you protest too much. But I do think he's going to get away with it. Yeah. Howard Lutnick, sorry. Howard. Yeah, guys, my early onset amnesia now, rather than the regression into old age, is set in. Basically, it's. I'm going to say chemo brain. I'm going to say chemo brain. And
it's
then
a lot of names to try and keep up with. It's a lot of names. Bolskov says Branson owns a neighbouring island, Necker.
It does, yeah.
£200,000 he paid for it in 1979. He bought it for Bloody Sex Pistols as well. It was also Mike Oldfield, wasn't it? Tubular Bells. But don't forget, Branson went to a posh private school and he was given money to start in his business when he was a young lad, and you don't get that kind of leg up.
He's a working class lad who started it all off in a phone box.
There's hardly anyone who's got any money in this life who started for nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you could argue maybe Alan Sugar, but he's part of the Jewish community, isn't he, Alan Sugar? Which, if you're growing up in London in the Jewish community, you have opportunities to meet people who might, be able to help you out with business and stuff like that, more so than you do in.
Well, Sugar, he ran a market stall importing radios from Japan.
Yeah.
You had to have a bit of money in your pocket to start that business, even then, basically.
Sphere Lance says people who own islands are dodgy. That's very true.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Especially ones off the coast of America. Strange jurisdictions who then seek passports from.
It's my ownership certificate of the island.
Like, if you buy a boat now and register it as a Panamanian citizen, doesn't that mean you're effectively free of the laws of the sea or something? Why is it everybody registers their boats in Panama?
Because the rules that the boats have to follow are based on wherever it's registered. So the big places are, what's it called? The Panama City. There's also Liberia, capital Monrovia. You see that quite a lot. And you also see Majuro, the capital of the Marshall Islands, on the back of a lot of boats. Is that
because they don't have to be seaworthy or something?
Oh, they do. I mean, there's certain, things, but I think it's cheaper to file all the registration documents and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think it's not like you can take a Hulk out that's going to sink, but it's a little less ship shape and Bristol fashion than getting it registered somewhere like London, where it's a lot more expensive but a lot more prestigious. So you'll see a lot of cruise ships will be registered in London, because then it's got that association with Lloyd's of London.
Now you're a Panamanian resident. You should set up a business registering ships,
I think someone's already beat me to it, mate.
It's like...
But yeah, I think it's the cost of the registration, and also it's certain rules that must be followed, and in different jurisdictions they're different. But I mean, if you're in someone's territorial waters, you have to follow the rules of those territorial waters. You can't just turn up somewhere and say, "Oh, this is registered in Liberia and murder's not illegal in Liberia."
This would be a total guess, but I'd guess registering a ship in Panama means that you have certain rights in the Panama Canal that you might not have otherwise.
I don't know. Maybe get a discount. Maybe, I don't know.
Or can use the ports or something.
What's quite fun about the Panama Canal is you're actually charged on the weight of the ship going through. So it's the water displacement, effectively. And so there's once a guy who cycled. Oh, we've lost Mike. Mike, come back. I've bored him to death. Come back, Mike. I was only joking. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What have we here? Mike, come back. Come back. Come back, Mike. I think that's it. I think he's gone. It's just me now. Gotta check me text. He's probably rabbiting on somewhere. He still thinks I'm here. I'm gonna start reading the chat while I'm waiting for Mike to come back. Sorry about this, everybody. Oh, it's not the way I wanted it to go this evening. Oh, here we go. That's why the Marshall Islands were given tariffs. Also, all of the registries are in the US except London. Obviously, yeah. If Shrugs is Jewish, does that mean he can borrow money at no interest rate? Usury is a sin. Usury is not a sin in Judaism. It's only a sin in Christianity, even though lots of Christians indulge in that kind of stuff these days. Mike's just doing his mime stuff. I think it just bored him to death talking about bloody water displacement in the Panama Canal. Although after watching Three Body Problem, I don't think I'm ever going to take a boat through the Panama Canal again. That wasn't a very good advert for the Panama Canal, I've got to say. Oh, Mike's back. Hello, Mike.
Okay.
Hello.
I am definitely. I'm going to destroy my computer after this.
That's okay. You don't need to destroy it.
I don't know why it does it. Anybody in the chat that knows anything about PCs could.
It's because you never turn it off.
Get this thing fixed.
It's because you never turn it off.
The laptop, I do though.
No, but you don't, because it never turns off unless you press when you go to shut down. Right, don't use the button. That doesn't work. When you go to shut down, right, you got to hold down the shift key. Otherwise, it doesn't shut down. You go onto your task manager, right, and go to the CPU and see how long you've been up for, and it'll say like 7 years or something fucking mad, because computers just don't turn off these days.
Let's do that.
So yeah, press shift.
It makes sense
when you press shut down on a PC. But yeah, Windows is shit, says Vendetta. Yeah, do you know it's like the odd numbered, sorry, the odd numbered Star Trek films, isn't it? Windows, they make like a decent version, and then they make a shit version. It's like XP and Vista was shit
and over again.
And then
it did do a Windows update last week. So
did it? That must be
it. And I saw it come up on the screen, and it reset just before I could stop it from doing it. Basically. So.
Yeah.
My other PC is telling me that it wants to restart and do a Windows update right now as well. So.
I got a message while I was doing a show.
I'm really sorry though. It lets you down. I keep vanishing, and I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The other day, I got a message coming up while I was doing a show saying Adobe Acrobat has updated. Restart your computer to continue, and I'm like, it's a document viewer. Like what?
No, Acrobat has now become an AI bloody monster. I don't know if you've seen it recently.
No, I haven't.
It scans every document you put in there, reads it, and offers you a summary, and you go, what are you doing with this data, and when did I click on something that said you could use it?
Yeah. Graham says facts with shutting down with Shift and Vendetta. Windows is shit. Are both right. So there you go.
Yeah, maybe it's time for Linux. Finally.
Windows ME directed by Shatner. What does God need with a laptop? Sorry, some Star Trek nerds are going to get that joke. You're not a Star Trek nerd, Mike.
I like it. I like Luke Skywalker
and Harry Potter and Gandalf
and the mechanical camels. I like them.
That was good. And the big sandworms that come out the ground.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. That whole spice narrative thing, that was cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
Jean-Luc Shatner, he was the best captain.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He really gave the Cybermen what for.
Yeah, definitely. On Tarek Noor, he was very good.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, this is. I think this is going to rumble on. It's giving the Democrats in the Senate and in the House of Representatives and the Senate a lot of work to, a lot of material, should we say, to work with against the Trump administration. But here's the thing, right? Could someone explain to me? We've only got a couple of minutes left, so it's going to be difficult. Why the fuck Biden did not release these documents when he was in charge? He's not in them.
Yeah.
Why didn't he release them?
Merrick Garland, worst head of the DOJ until this one, I guess, basically.
Absolutely awful.
And also, I think the Clinton thing maybe was a thing as well, for Biden. He's an old school, isn't he? I think this is the thing, just in general. I don't know. I mean, I've looked at some of these international stories, and it feels like the reverberations are very similar to they are in the UK. That a lot of governments are now suddenly waking up to the idea that, look, we can't ignore this level of corruption that we know has gone on in the system forever.
Yeah.
And we're either going to have to do something about it or try and ride it out and go with a right-wing government and, hope we die before we leave office. Basically, I don't know what their other plans are, but
yeah,
it's the other area on international politics on this that I'm finding incredibly difficult is the level of involvement of Israel in all of this story. It's all the way through from Ghislaine's dad to Epstein's involvement to Barak on the island and in the New York flat, and the email exchanges, which appear, some of them appear to be anti-Semitic. Yeah. With Epstein saying them as well, but then also, him suggesting that the way to get around Israel's population problem with Arabs is to allow Gentiles to become Israeli citizens or something. It's like bringing more white people to Israel was his plan. Basically.
Yes, but that's been a plan of Israel for a long time. It happened in the 90s when they had a huge influx of Jews from the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union, who came across, which actually at the time took away one of the big powerful things that the Palestinian people could do, which is just down tools. I mean, the Israeli economy was completely reliant on cheap Palestinian labor until the early 90s, and then with these people coming over from Eastern Europe, obviously that sort of replaced that. But I don't want to single Israel out too much, because obviously, look, Slovakia's in the fucking files, Norway's in the files, the UK's in the files.
Well, Poland's looking into it as well now.
Yeah, but Ehud Barak, oh shit, what's his name?
Barak.
No, is it Ehud Barak, the former prime minister?
Yeah.
Am I just saying that wrong? Sorry.
He's the one that went to the New York
apartment. Yeah, it is Ehud Barak.
Photographic evidence of him being there.
Yeah. So he was accused, without naming his name, but it can't be anyone else. He's accused by Virginia Giuffre in her book about her, her life, of raping her brutally on multiple occasions, which he didn't accuse Trump of, or even Andrew wasn't accused of rape, and she said there was a prime minister, a famous prime minister, and all of the dates and the times and everything points towards Ehud Barak. And she actually took him to court, but I don't think she won.
And I would equally say, that there are Saudis in that list as well. There are, there's plenty of Muslims in there as well, basically. So I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that this is a Jewish or Israeli thing. But it looks like the worst of every country is involved in it in some way or the other.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I think with the royal family things is, like, from Norway through to Andrew, is just all this, these impoverished European royal families, relatively speaking, compared to the tech bros that they're hanging out with, etc. You can see how they ended. I think most of those are just involved in the money side, apart from Andrew.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, let's hope. To summarise, I always hate having any hope because you always end up being disappointed. But let's hope that this starts a process of democracy that means that we won't tolerate this anymore. That we do want this cleaning out root and branch, and I think that's Starmer's only hope of hanging on for the next 2 years. Yeah, I think he really needs to go mad for this, and corruption, just go mad against corruption. Say you can't have a second job. Go after Prince Andrew. Go after anyone else who's mentioned in the files. And Michelle Mone. Yeah, but use the opportunity to get Michelle Mone out of the House of Lords as well, because when they change that law, and in jail where she belongs for stealing all that fucking money. You steal a Mars bar from the fucking co-op, you get thrown in jail in this country, and she's stolen over £120 million from the taxpayer, and she's swanning around in the fucking Caribbean. And the reality of Keir Starmer, I think, is he is the ideal man for that job. He really is. That's the kind of work he can do. Okay, well, we're going to have to wrap it up around here. Oh, yes, we did it. Saz. Saz, thank you very much, which triggered the confetti. I moved it down to just one. So thanks very much. And now we can release the confetti cannon. 3, 2, 1, kablooey!
Thank you very much, Daz, for triggering the confetti there. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the morning brew. PMQs at 12 o'clock. And then we'll be jumping down the rabbit hole with our friend Ollie Bowler Hatman, if he's not bailing out another friend's sinking house, to take in his suggestions for Room 101. So we're doing Room 101 again, but we're doing it with Ollie this time.
PMQs will be interesting tomorrow, I think, as will Room 101.
Last PMQs for a couple of weeks, by the way, because it's half term next week, and obviously Parliament just runs on the fact that it's just a school. It's just a continuation of private school.
Of course.
That's why they have Michaelmas.
Must be Michaelmas soon. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, right. Okay, so thanks very much to my wonderful co-host, Mike Dix, who's just stepped in at literally last minute. And you know when you say, the last minute? It was like 7:29. I was like, hey, Mike.
Yeah.
What are you doing, mate?
Go and research a load of foreign leaders and come on out.
You do a load of research. Thanks, you got 30 seconds. Come on the show. So thanks so much. Much appreciation to Mike. Much appreciation to everyone for watching. Thank you for everyone who's added to the chat and got involved there. If you liked what you saw tonight, or even if you didn't like it, give us a like anyway, because, it's contrarian, isn't it? And like I say, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Until then, if you keep watching, you'll get taken over automatically to Maximilian Robespierre's channel, and he's talking about what's he talking about today? Oh, God, just I think it's a continuation of what we're talking about. Oh, no, Labour collapsing. So say hello to Max for us. And until next time, I say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.